Hello,
Hello.
everybody.
Hello. Welcome to Content Creators Connect. Here we are all about encouraging the three C's: connecting with others via video, content development that builds your personal brand, and we are creators sharing our own experiences despite our distance.
And my computer just went haywire. Holy cow.
Yes, live streaming. Gotta love it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, let's talk about this. Uh, the C3 team member leading this evening is Manny, also known as Coach Manny. He is coaching us up in the world of social media marketing as well as pursuing his passion for streaming true crime. And I think that's going to be the focus of Manny's conversation tonight. Manny, why don't you tell us why you think sharing successes like this is such an important stage in the content creator journey?
Thank you so much. I totally appreciate that because here is the truth. And when it comes to YouTube, that's probably one of the most asked questions. How can I get to 1,000 subscribers? How can I monetize my content on YouTube? And honestly, that's one of the reasons why I picked this topic because someone asked me to do a piece of content on that. And so if it's one thing that we want to do here at C3 is open it up for you to ask us, what would you like to learn from us? And when it comes to YouTube, getting those 1,000 subscribers, those 4,000 hours of watch time can seem like so much. And so what I want to do is share exactly how you said that, Dori, my journey. My journey in getting to 1,000 subscribers. And to me, I think that's an important topic because a lot of people ask that question. And to be completely honest with you, there's no one answer, I don't truly believe. I believe it's a mixture of multiple things. And so what I'm doing is, just like Dory said, I'm sharing my journey to 1,000 subscribers. As our other creators are working their way up there, their journey's a little different than my journey. Their niche is a little different than my niche. So I think that it's very important that we understand I'm sharing my success in reaching my monetization goals. Kevin, what do you think about that topic? How to reach 1,000 subscribers?
I 100% agree with you that every single content creator has a separate journey, but there are still several tips that we can all share and learn from each other as well. I know for myself, I've been struggling to grow my audience and getting subscribers to my channel, but I also know that it's a bunch of different things that are leading to the lack of growth. So I'm really looking forward to today and all those little golden nuggets that you're going to provide and see how I can implement those into my content creation journey. So got my rocket book here ready to take a bunch of notes. So Dori, what about you? What are you looking forward to hearing from Manny today?
Well, it's actually, I think, really appropriate that Manny's doing this topic this week, and we're going to dive into something next week with mine that we'll discuss a little bit later. But I've been dipping my toes into several areas of interest when it comes to streaming. But let's be honest, I haven't fully committed to any single one area of interest yet. So I'm struggling a little bit because when you try to spread yourself too thin, we all know what happens with audience and interest and things. So I really cannot wait to hear about Manny's top tips. Hopefully, that will help me focus a little bit which will take us into next week. So I'm really excited about this. And if you are also excited about this, and this is the type of content that you would like to see more of, please consider hitting that subscribe button and smash that notification bell so that way you can get notified whenever we go live. But with all that out of the way, I think we are fast approaching the most important time of the evening. It is time for the content.
Thank you, Dori. Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate you guys making this sound like I better really bring it. That I love. Here's the truth about YouTube, my friends. Thank you for everyone who's paying attention at this moment. I want to give you a little piece of what to expect. Number one, this could be a training that could be 3+ hours long. Not going to do that to you. Not going to do that at all. I want to share with you a few do's and don't. One of the things that we highly, highly want, I want it, Dori wants it, Kevin wants it, we all want to see growth using YouTube. Look at the three of us right now. We are in our office in front of a camera, a video camera, right? Why are we doing that? Number one, we want to bring information to you. We want to help you. Number two, we want to do stuff that is in our comfort zone and a little out of our comfort zone while we grow in our worlds. You see, right here in my home office, I'm able to do video marketing. Video marketing, my friends, is one of the best ways to get in front of more people. One of the best ways to get eyeballs on your content. And I want to share something with you. When we get into YouTube, one of the things that we want so fast is hurry, hurry, hurry to get to 1,000 subscribers. I remember the feeling. I remember multiple times with people where I talked to a new client that we are taking on. He's a dog trainer. He's got so many videos. He wants help creating that, getting that up on YouTube, editing it, and optimizing it. But what are the important things to actually help that channel be successful? Those are some of the things that I'm going to share with you. So let me say that there is a few training on our channel already. Without having to spend hours and hours, I'm gonna show that to you a little bit so that you know what it is that you can look for. So I created one piece of content on YouTube on our channel here, Content for Success, and how to create the right content. It's going to be very relevant for what we are talking about in getting your first 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Okay, another piece of content you're going to want to check out, Twitter for YouTube growth, because I used Twitter, and we'll dive into that a little bit. I used Twitter for a lot of this. It is so valuable in getting subscribers. I don't do it myself. Now I've trained someone else in our company to easily do this for my true crime channel because it's that simple. And so I highly recommend check out that video as well. Another one, keyword research, one of the most powerful parts of doing this. I share with you how to use vidIQ, the extension, to help you find the right content. So those are a few things, creating attention-grabbing headlines. All four of these, I believe it's four, right? All four of these videos will help you in coming up with the right topics. And so in an effort to save a lot of time, I'm not going to go deep into all of that. I'm kind of going to jump into a little of the most important parts of this, because this is what I did to get my first 1,000 subscribers. When I talk about that attention grabbing headlines, well, my friends, your topic and what you want to attract is important, right? But so are those words on your thumbnail, that attention grabbing words. So I think those are key things. I can easily go down this road for a long time, but I'm not going to do that. But you can check out those 4 videos to help you, because they will go a long way. That's why I'm not going to just rehash everything. So I wanted to dive into that. That's some of the do's you're going to want to do in order to get it. What are some of the don'ts you do not want to do? This is a big no-no. It's what's called sub for sub. You subscribe to my channel, I'll subscribe to your channel. Do not do that. Okay?
Amen.
I say that.
Amen.
I say that as someone who years ago was like, oh, I heard YouTube syndication was one way. There's a right way to go about YouTube syndication. That's not it. There are a lot of groups that even specialize in this. They'll have 50,000 members in a Facebook group, and that's their focus. Let me tell you why that's a bad idea. Number one, you are getting people to hit that subscribe button that really don't care about your content. That tells the YouTube algorithm, hey, they got subscribers, but no one pays attention to it. Something doesn't look right about that. So you have to keep that in mind. That is not a legit way to do it. Another not legit way to do it is to buy subscribers. There is no one who can guarantee you the right amount of subscribers. You know why? Because it takes real work to get real people to really enjoy your content. Remember that. It takes real work to get real people to really enjoy your content. You have to speak to the right people. And that is a big part of it. Guys, I'm sorry, you said my background was twitching a little. My bad on that. I don't see it on my end, but I think I know why you see it on your end. My apologies on that. So with that being said, you want to be careful with who you're trusting. Some people are so desperate for YouTube subscribers, they will not do it the right way. Even doing videos around doing advertising around your videos, not the best approach. Because after they've watched that video, what are the odds they're going to watch more videos? That's another thing. That's why it's like, if you go into a group or you share with a bunch of people, oh, I'm so excited, my YouTube channel has grown, I've got this going on. And then if you share that, and then you get the lurkers who are like, oh, I want to know what he's doing. Then you get people to go check out your page, but they don't really get into your content. That brings the algorithm down from showing your channel to more people, because YouTube sees a hit of people, but they're not really watching your content for very long. They may be just going and leaving. One of the ways you can tell when this is not working is when you get subscribers, but they don't like your content, or they don't even watch. Maybe they subscribe to it because they're going to come back at another time, which happens a lot. YouTube will first show you that subscriber. If you really pay attention to subscribers, you'll see it go down 1 or 2 sometimes. That's because people have subscribed but didn't actually pay attention to your content yet. Now, once YouTube sees they were a serious subscriber and they are going to pay attention to your content, then they'll give you credit for that. Because YouTube is all about real, authentic audience. That is their way to fight their competition. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, right? YouTube has competition. Though they dominate the search engines, they have competition. Remember that. Even though we want to be on there, they have competition. And their competition makes them step their game up, right? And so that's why it's important that you have the right people. I want to share with you a group that is a great group. You want some extra tips outside of what we are sharing? YouTube Creators, a group by Tom Nash. I love groups where you don't get a bunch of spam. And you'll get those in the groups where you will get spammed a lot. This is a group that you can do. This is a great one where they give good advice without you being solicited on a bunch of stuff. Now, the actual creator, absolutely. Hey, if you're the expert in your group and you're making things happen and you build the audience, I believe you should be able to sell to that audience you built. So yes, Tom, you want to sell to me or put out posts out there? I'm totally fine with that. You give good value, right? So he may be the only one, but you can go through here and you can see how many hours are you dedicating every week for your YouTube channel. I think that's a great question, even for you who are tuned in. How many hours a week are you dedicating every week? Now, that was going to be part of my topic, so I might as well even dive into it since we're looking at it. The question is, how many hours do you have available every single week? Because if it's one thing you do not want to do, and your audience will leave if you do this, is to get on a roll and then stop rolling. Meaning that you are creating content, but you're not consistent. This is a long-term battle. YouTube is literally, it's almost, I like to compare it a little like network marketing. Because in the early days, when you first start your business, that's where you're going to put in a lot of work to enjoy that empire long-term down the road. It's not overnight, right? Same thing with YouTube. In the early days, you have to put it in when no one's listening or when the very few are listening. So you want to have a dedicated weekly commitment to producing content. And that's what you're doing. Once you're putting up content, you are a content creator. Remember that. And this does not stop. It only stops when you stop creating content. So just like the three of us on here on C3, we are all content creators. ClasicMac creates content live every single week faithfully. Dori creates content 5 days a week, every single morning faithfully. And you can look at the audience to see that actually people are paying attention because they're not one and done. That's why you got to ask yourself, how are you going to treat this? Are you going to treat it like a hobby and I'll deal with it whenever I'm in the mood to deal with it? Because you won't hit that goal. Whatever that goal is, if you have a goal, which you should have a goal, you're not going to hit it if you treat it like a hobby. To be completely honest with you, there is money behind YouTube. Money is business, right? Treat it like a business that you're passionate about. That's my next topic that I want to talk about. What are you passionate about? What are some of the things that Dori shared about me? It's my passion in true crime. I was already watching a lot of true crime documentaries, a lot of true crime shows. I didn't just come out of left field and say, oh my God, there's a lot of people in true crime. Let me go into true crime. I was already doing that. I was already diving into it, looking into stories. My biggest draw to it is, how did they catch the bad guy? I like to play online detective. Some of us they would refer to us as internet sleuths, right? Online sleuths. We like digging deep. So you have to ask yourself, what are you passionate about that you can create content consistently and you actually look forward to it? That is a question that I have for you as well. when I was sharing about YouTube syndication groups, there are some that might be reputable. I really don't know. When I dove into it, there was one that I did use in the early days of my true crime channel. And this was YouTube syndication group. I wouldn't recommend looking for it because completely honest, it's kind of fizzled out. But this did help me, and that's why I'm sharing it. It did help me get subscribers. But the difference between this and say a sub for sub is there were requirements. Hey, I did this. I gave you a full watch time. I gave you a subscriber and I'm consistent. Please return the favor. But truth is, you got to be a real person for this, meaning that you want to at least play it out. Now, that was in the early days. I don't do that at all. That was again when I just need to create a little momentum on my channel, because a lot of this is momentum, right? So when I'm doing the do and I got people who are watching my content who are at least giving me a full watch time, because a way to get a full watch time, it could be from someone who is a YouTube premium member and downloads the video but only watches 5 seconds or 30 seconds, whatever. YouTube will give you that full watch time. A lot of people did not know that. So if a person's a premium member and they download the video, you literally get a full watch time. One of the requirements for YouTube is you get to 1,000 subscribers. That is at any time that you hit it. You do not have to hit 1,000 subscribers in a 12-month period. But the 4,000 hours of watch time, you have to do that in a 12-month period. And let me tell you, back 6 whatever years ago, when YouTube made these changes about making these changes and making it 1,000 and 4,000 hours of watch time, I was like, man, that sounds pretty hard, right? Like, oh my gosh, how am I gonna, like, man, that sounds like, but once I started getting consistent and doing the do and just saying to myself, I'm not going to worry about those things. I'm just going to be a content creator, because ultimately I'm a big believer in multiple streams of income. YouTube is one of those multiple streams of income for me. And truth is, on YouTube, you can multiple stream income that thing by itself through sponsorships, through super thanks. So I get people who will send me super thanks and super whatever. I don't pay attention too much, but I really appreciate that. You know when they do things like that? When they appreciate your hard work. Did you hear that? People will literally thank you by sending you a few bucks because of your hard work. I'm not comfortable asking people to do those. I want you to see my work in action and you say, I appreciate what you're doing. I got a comment recently about how much they appreciate the way I go about my true crime content. If you are a true crime follower, it doesn't even matter if it's true crime, whatever niche that you follow or you're diving into, this is why I love videos. Your authenticity can come through so much better in videos than any other way. It truly can. Whether you're putting an image with some text, not the same as video. That's why I love YouTube video. Drop on to Dori's morning show. Watch the energy she brings to you, to her audience. Watch her uniqueness, which is my next topic. Being unique in your own way. I want to stop right here, and I'm looking you dead in the eye through this camera. I don't care how well to do these YouTube trainers are. There are some amazing trainers out there. And there are right now, Sean Cannell is promoting and advertising about getting 1,000 subscribers, helping you get your first 1,000 subscribers. And truth is, it's probably worth the money for a newbie. But here's the one thing I never hear them say. To be honest with you, I think they make it sound a little too simple. It's not simple. You know what makes this thing worth it? You have to find your voice, and you truly have to be creative. There are a lot of people diving into true crime. And I can tell you there are people who are newer to the industry who has blown me out of the water. I don't get stuck on that. What I do dive into is, what did they do differently than me? There is always that part where I could say, I could see where that's different than my content. And maybe people were drawn more to that. But here's what I'm also realizing. That's not my personality. That's just not me. I'm not going to be who I am not, because my audience wants the authentic version of Manny Rodriguez. They don't want a cookie cutter. And so when I look at these other ones, I do my best. And I'm not going to lie. Of course, I have that like, man, wow, what did they do? Holy mackerel. I'm glad for them, while I'm also thinking, okay, what did they do different? You see, what people are not diving into to tell you that you need to do, you need to be you all the way through. But there are some commonalities to this. There are some things that I do, Dori has to do, Kevin has to do. Even though we're all in 3 different niches, we have to do something all in common. You know what that is? My friends, it's what I started this training off. You have to know what to talk about. You have to know what topics to dive into. You have to know how to find the right pieces of content to talk about. That part is what you're going to learn in Sean Cannell's class. That is what you are going to learn for free on this channel. Those 4 pieces of topic I told you to go check out at the beginning, you check that out. That alone is worth a lot of money that you do not have to spend. That's why we do this stuff. But the one secret sauce you better be ready for is, how are you going to separate yourself, and how are you going to be the big bang for you? I was sitting down in a one-to-one with someone. A one-to-one in networking is when one person sits on one side of the table and I sit on the other. We get to know about one another's business. I was sitting down with someone and I was like, a while ago when you first started networking, you were being more of an entertainer with it. I'm like, why are you not doing that? I hate to say this, kind of breaks my heart that he said this. My wife told me to stop being a clown. I was like, I never saw you as a clown. I thought you were someone who was edutaining us. Maybe it's my social media marketing mind that said, I was in the back of my mind like, what? Like, really? Did you hear that from us? But as I've grown to know their situation, she basically says, yes, you can pay for this. No, you can't. So I feel like I can't judge that because I don't know. But I'm gonna tell you this, and I'm gonna share this with him because this has come across my newsfeed multiple times because I was helping another health insurance guy. There's a health insurance guy on Facebook who's blowing it out of the water, killing it. You know what he does? He entertains his audience while he educates them. That's edutainment. And so I'm going to grab some screenshots, send it over to him. I'm going to say, you sure you know what you're talking about here? Look at this guy killing it. And he's edutaining. Education with entertainment. When you get ready to sit down and create your YouTube channel and you start thinking, how am I going to be different? Edutain your audience. Bring out your personality. If you are a dry person who never laughs, well, you're probably going to have to figure out some ways to get in front of the mirror and find yourself, because they don't want dry and boring either, because your video will not attract an audience. I'm saying this from personal experience. All the times I was just getting on the video in front of my camera, you know what that truly was? I'm talking about my phone camera at first, when I first started this. You know what that was? That was practice. That was practice while I was working on getting better. And then when I started to learn how to use software, which is what I'm using right now, and I didn't show you guys this, but when I did the training on vMix, that is when my content actually got better. You see, there are some people who get in front of a camera and do very well. You know why? Because they're being their true, authentic self. And they're throwing some funnies in there. They're throwing some oh my goshes in there. They're getting people. And all this guy does, I have one in particular, all he does, and he's in the true crime realm as well, but he talks about Britney Spears stuff, which is always going to attract attention. What he does is he just sits in front of a camera with a background of some figurines, and he's just his own authentic self. And I'm going to gather and guess that he's probably on a phone camera as well. The lighting's not the greatest, but he brings his own personality. I share that with you to tell you that once again, he is different than my personality. When I follow his Twitter account, I see some of the things he says. His personality is different than my personality. So I share that with you to tell you that you got to understand, one of the secret sauces to this is you have to create your own different personality with it. So let's dive in real quick for the next 10 minutes before I wrap this up on how to quickly find things you should be talking about. So I'm going to go to Google. And again, I'm not going to spend a lot of time because to be completely honest with you, you guys, if you've been following my channel, I would just be rehashing a bunch. But I'm going to give you a really quick synopsis of like, man, the most important part of this is two things that are most important parts of YouTube. I've shared this before. I'm going to share it again. Your thumbnail and your title. And here's the truth as well. I'll look at some of these YouTube creators, whatever niche they're in, they'll have so many subscribers and they don't really optimize their videos anymore. They don't really have to after you've reached a certain level. Some still do, but a lot don't. I was talking with a dog trainer who's our newest client, and we were looking through some people like, hey, who do you know in your industry that, and then of course I'm doing the same thing, right? Who do you know in your industry that is killing it on YouTube? He gave me some names. I go to that YouTube and I say, well, look at his thumbnail. Wow, he's doing it the right way. So look at the thumbnail. Look at what they're doing. Look at their titles. Is it searchable content? Yeah, why? Wow, it is. There's a reason for that. It's the two most important things of YouTube algorithm, or YouTube, not the algorithm, of people clicking on your videos. Because here's the truth, my friends. Remember this. Even though you're just getting started, YouTube wants to find out if people are going to like your content. How do they do that? They show it to people. And so when you're thinking about that, that is what you have to understand is YouTube is going to show my content. I need my thumbnail to pop so that people click. Get it? I need it to pop so people click. Remember that, because that is a key part. But when you're thinking about what can I talk about, let's think about the truth about it is, what are people talking about? So I'm not true crime as well. Let me tell you about true crime. It's completely different than whatever niche you're in. Mine is not about the searchable content per se. It's about what story is the biggest in the news. And then I have to put my creativity behind it so that I'm not cookie cutter. But you might be in a different niche. Let's talk about social media marketing, right? I'm just throwing some words in there to talk about, right? This right here is so key. That makes it bigger. This right here is one of my go-tos for anything. My client every week, hey, I don't know what to talk about. Boom. I do these exact steps for our YouTube channel as well. I'm talking about their YouTube channel. When I say our, I mean client hour. I do this exact same thing. Okay, let me go put a search term into Google. People also ask, what does a social media business do? That's definitely a piece of content that I can create. How do I start a social media business? If I wanted to help people start a social media business, that's a piece of content I would write about or talk about, right? Is social media business profitable? Now, sometimes they will have things up there that are not so relevant, right? So, but once I click on this, it gives me other options. So, for example, let's see, healthy. So one of my clients recently was, she's like, oh my gosh, it's already Thursday. I don't, what topic? Well, I don't have a topic. And so I'm like, okay, I literally went and I thought of a topic. Sometimes I'll ask my wife, hey, what do you think Amy should talk about? She'll even give me some ideas. But here's how I found her topic that we were going to talk about. I was just more like, snacks in between foods, because she's a healthy person, healthy expert, and she likes to educate people on being healthy, right? So it was like healthy snacks, right? And so it was more like I don't even know how I started it, but I just started typing and look at the suggestions. We ended up doing healthy snacks between meals. So guess what? Then I went and I said, okay, I looked through here. Guess what I was doing? And I do this all the time. A lot of my clients, they don't always go back and look at previous times I gave them topics. But this is exactly what I do. I go and find a bunch of topics. I'll give them 10 topics. Hey, you're good for 10 weeks. Or if we're going to give some options, I'll give them 3 and like say, hey, pick one and let me know so we can get a thumbnail going for you, right? But this is what I did. What are snacks I can eat between meals? What foods are best to eat? So literally, that's where I started. And I did not have to go further. Guess why? Because this is what people are going to Google to ask this question. Hello, why wouldn't I create content that I know they're already asking? Right? So this is key. This is one of my number one sources for creating content. Literally. Because I can click on it. Look at this. Literally. When it comes to content, especially live content, right? Why reinvent the wheel? I work with a lot of real estate agents. Do you really think any of them are talking about anything different? What they are doing is they're creating it in their own creative way, their own spin, their own voice, right? That's key, that you put your voice on it. I love, and I give them kudos. I jump on their channel and say, man, I love your content. I love the hard work, because I do appreciate it. I'm not going to suffer from comparaitis and start dodging, digging at other people. Some things do blow my mind, like the type of ways that they'll keep the story on their page because it's profitable. In true crime, if something is hot, a lot of true crimers will spin the story every which way they can because it's a hot topic. And here's the truth. Even though it's a hot topic, is it wrong for them to create ways? No. If your audience is paying attention and they're watching it, well, guess what? You're doing it for your audience as well, right? When I create my YouTube channel, my true crime channel, it wasn't about me. It was about being a voice for the victims. What is your purpose? For me, it's about being a voice for people who, hey, this is a crazy world we live in. I want to keep you aware of what could go wrong in that fast, to keep you aware, to keep you alert. And that's my message. When you're creating your YouTube channel, what is your message that you are sharing? My friends, these are just a few of the things to help you, because if you go and you dive into especially this one right here, I've shared with you how I literally use this. This was so powerful for me that, again, now I have someone doing it for me. Get subscribers all the time. And this is basically what I did to get to my first 1,000. The other thing that I did that I've also shared with you, this is a powerful thing for me. And again, I'm not going to dive into this because I would just be rehashing what I did already on this. But this is what helped me get to my message. What are people talking about? You got to know, is there relevancy there? Healthy snacks, right? I was talking about healthy snacks. This is very high. 67,000 people are searching this every single month, right? But it goes deeper because of all the related keywords. My friends, you know what I do with these keywords? I will show you real briefly, because this is part of the optimization process. With those exact keywords, and I'm just skimming just to get you somewhere really fast, but I don't know, sheets. It logged me out. I'm not going to dive into it too deeper than I guess. So the tags, all of these, literally, if it's relevant, you use these in your tags of your description of your video. So the top 3 things to help your video get found, again, I've talked about this. That's why I don't want to rehash everything. But the top 3 things are, as I shared, your thumbnails, right? That helps to get the click, to get them to click on it. Your title, your description, that's definitely always going to be important. But then your tags. Put this stuff in your tags. So when you find something that works, all of these can be used in the tags. But you want to do a little different. Do the one thing that's going to be hard. If I just put snacks in there, the odds of me standing out of almost 100,000 searches a month, you can see competition is very high, right? That's going to be hard for me to stand out. So this is key to know what terms do I want to use. Healthy snacks for toddlers, 1,300 searches a month. Actually, I feel like something like that I could definitely stand out for. So when you're thinking about morning motivation, let's see what stuff that comes out for that. Holy mackerel, 207,000 people search this a month. Competition is definitely high. But what would Dori want to do to man, obviously I want to talk about morning motivation because everyone under the freaking planet is talking about it. She can go in a little deeper for business owners, right? She can go a little deeper on that. And look at that. Overall score, 3,600 people are still searching that every morning. I mean, every month. But that could be something that she puts in her tags, not necessarily in her titles, because that's not a very high popular search volume. 3,600 a month is not the lowest. Right there, it even tells you medium. You can see that right there. 3,600. Competition is still high, right? Which also says a lot of people are still using that. Who would have thought that people are actually searching for morning motivation for business owners, right? And so when Dori is putting in her tags, morning motivation for business owners, why not? Let me tell you one of the things that I have found that I didn't learn from vidIQ. I just learned by typing words in. If you use this vidIQ extension, when you're putting in your tags, it starts populating. And again, I've gone through this whole vidIQ extension training I shared with you. It starts populating. One of the hottest topics that helped me get more found, that I just found because I was typing words, was whatever name of, say, a suspect or something, along with true crime at the end. Alex Murdaugh, true crime. Mind blowing that putting that at the end was actually going to help me get my videos found. And this is not an analytics training, so I'm not diving into that. But if you dive into your YouTube analytics, it tells you what search terms led to people watching this video. Pay attention to that, because it's telling you people found you by just putting these words in. And some of the words that I would just put in there just because I'm like, there's got to be someone out there searching for this stuff, I was right. Truth is, my friends, as I close this up, you know your audience, but never stop studying your audience. You do not know what's going to attract someone to your channel. You do not know when a video is going to take off. Let me tell you, sure, I get a lot of videos in the hundreds, 500, 700, 1,000, but I've also had videos that have been 50,000, 30,000, 10,000, 5,000, all over. But I didn't know when that first one was going to pop until I finally had a video that popped. And let me tell you something to help you get to your 1,000 subscribers. Pay attention to YouTube Shorts. I'm going to do a video. That's going to be one of my trainings in an upcoming few weeks about these YouTube Shorts. And that's going to be the complete training. My friends, they have implemented some new changes as of February 1st to help you monetize YouTube Shorts. But here's the thing, even though you may not be able to monetize it right away, YouTube Shorts is helping people get a lot of subscribers. You hear that? A lot of subscribers. YouTube Shorts is also helping people find their creativity, right? That's been a big word here today, creativity. Almost every time I hear creativity, it goes back to when I was a child and that song, Electricity, Electricity. I hate hearing that. Now I hear it all the time. So it's amazing the type of content that makes people remember things just like that. Something that's stuck with me since childhood, right? My friends, there is something unique about you. Until you get out there, no one knows you. They only wish they did. Just like my friend who said my wife told me to stop being a clown when I told her some of the things I was doing. I disagree with that, because now you're just going to be cookie cutter. If you want to be like everyone else, you got to remember, it doesn't always work. There's a lot of true crimers out there. I cannot even think about trying to be like them. What I can do is learn what is working for them. What are they doing different that I'm not doing? And believe me, I've learned a lot from them. I created an intro video for my channel, and I used a popular series. I think it might have been Inside Edition, 48 Hours or something like that. And I just followed them like, oh, they did this for 5 seconds. Let me do that for 5 seconds. Oh, they got a man walking. Let me find a man walking in videos that I can use, right? So, my friends, I'm going to close it out here and tell you that if I could do it, you can do it. If I can do it with a big forehead, a big nose, a chipped tooth, and get in front of this camera with confidence and know that I was able to find my voice, I promise you, you can find your voice. You just have to start. And you have to say, I'm going all in until what? Until something happens. Because the only way you fail is when you quit. So in my mind, don't quit, you don't fail. I promise you, something will always happen. Just like my buddy Kevin. He started a channel from scratch with my guidance, with my training, and then something started popping. But in the interim time, he was still getting subscribers. Little by little, he was getting subscribers until something popped. My friends, I'm Manny Rodriguez. This has been another episode of our C3 training. At the end of the day, my friends, this is not about us. This is about us helping you get where you want. So please hit that subscribe button. But if you do not already follow us, let us know. How can we be better for you, my friends? And if you know anyone else who would get some value out of this, we would appreciate it if you share it with them as well, because we love to serve you. My friends, I am done. Thank you so much for everyone's time. I will close it out right there. I know that YouTube has been a complete focus of our conversations since starting this C3 project, both from a group and an individual channel perspective. I would love to hear from you both one thing you think you can implement to get you to your first 1,000 subscribers. Kevin, you first, my friend, because I love your ClasicMac stuff that you create. And one of the things that really grabbed my attention, if you notice every week, you get a like and a lot of times a comment, because I love the content you bring. But what do you think you can implement to help you get to that first 1,000 subscribers?
Well, thanks, Maddie, for all those golden nuggets of wisdom. One of the things that I really did connect with was being authentic. Don't force, like you said, don't force a personality that isn't you. Like I do come on camera quite a bit as very, very lighthearted, but yet on my social posts, I'm very punny. I do write a lot of puns. So it's like, maybe I can implement some of that more into my live content too, so that people can actually relate the social posts with me as the sort of online personality sort of thing. So definitely the edutainment part of it, I am trying to implement that, but I don't know whether I'm coming across as dry or whether I actually am entertaining people as I'm trying to deliver the content. Yeah, and the couple of other notes that I took was definitely working on the thumbnail and optimizing, using vidIQ, and vidIQ, because it is such a useful tool. What else did I write? Yeah, I did have a question for you, Manny. With the growth earlier on, how do you get people to move from a click to liking a video to getting them engaged and watch the entire video to help you grow? And sort of also, I guess, sort of part of that is, would you recommend doing videos as well as live, or maybe repurposing that live content as your video?
Great question, Kevin. Your first question was referencing how to get them from a like to a comment. Is that right?
Yeah.
So And one of the biggest things for me is just like we do here, and this truly works, is asking them as a call to action. Like, number one, I like to share with them what's the purpose of my channel? Why do I do this? If that sounds like something that resonates with you or that's something that you want to follow, I would have just literally the exact same way that we say here on C3 is what I do in my channel. I give them a purpose. Like, hey, this is why I do this channel. And I normally do it at the end after I've fed them the content where that was my complete focus. A lot of people do it different. A lot of people do it at the very beginning. Some people don't even ask for it. They just have it pop up during the content. I'm more of a, what do you want them to do? The call to action. What do you want them to do? You've given them great content. What do you want them to do next? I don't believe that you should do a video and not have a call to action. Honestly, ever. And to me, a strong call to action is one that really makes them do what you're ultimately wanting them to do. A weak call to action is more like, hey, if you got some value, click the like. To me, that's a weak call to action, but one that, if that's what you're wanting, definitely ask. Whereas the strong call to action is, do you want to take this to the next level? Message me. Let's talk. Let's schedule a time because I want to help you get out of your own way. Whatever's blocking you right in front of you, just like you said, Kevin, you want to get out of your, I think that was you or someone else I was reading. You want to get out of your own way. Here's the truth. I'm guilty. We have a tendency to stop our own selves from being as successful or to achieve the heights we want. Whether it's we get fired up and then lose motivation, we didn't keep that motivation and then we stop doing it. That is us hindering our own success. YouTube, I recently saw I'll talk about another true crimer who he started his channel after me. And then all of a sudden, he got to 2,000 subscribers way before me. I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, he had to have pay for subs. So what did I do? I reached out to him like, hey, congratulations. You made it to 2,000 subs. You know what he did? He literally had a piece of content take off. That's what it was all along. Here I was thinking one thing, but he found his voice. But then he made a mistake. He went about a month without doing anything. So he gets to 2,000 really fast, but then he did nothing. And then he jumps back on and he says, you know, to me, he made the mistake. He says, it's hard to stay motivated to do a video for 100 views. To me, that was damaging to him right here. Because in the early days, I mean, this guy is not even a year old. He's already at 2,000 subscribers. Sounds like he is not appreciating the good stuff. You got to take time. Once again, him getting in his own way, not staying consistent and then saying something negative about your audience, basically, right? So it's so easy for us to get in our own way. But when it comes to that call to action, keep them tuned in by saying, what do you want them to do next? And you were saying, how do you get them to watch for a certain length of a time? It's still hook. I had to learn this. You got to hook them in at the beginning. If they stick around, what are they going to learn? If you notice, when I started this content, I said, I gave them a little brief of what you are going to learn if you stick around. If you stay on, I'm going to share a little bit, right? I gave them a little bits of pieces of what's going to come in. If you can get something that makes them say, I can't wait to see that, that is how you hook them to stay in. I was watching a show yesterday, and I knew that a certain person was going to be getting on the show. And what did I do? I stuck around and waited till I got to see that portion. I didn't know when, but I knew it was going to come on. They hooked me in early. They made me have I don't want to miss out on that. So when you're thinking about it, the idea of them staying on for the whole video, what are you doing at the beginning of that video to hook them in? What is the teaser that's going to make them say, I don't want to miss that piece of content or that piece? Or when he talks about that, oh, a free giveaway, I don't want to miss that. Or I need to be on to win, I don't want to miss that. Whatever it is, that is one of the powerful ways, is the hook. You gotta hook them in at the beginning and tell them what's going to happen if they stick around for the length of the content. So did I answer that? I think I answered that.
Yeah, you totally did. And I'm sure that Dori was able to get some nuggets of wisdom as well. So I'm curious to hear what she got from the content and what her answer is that she wants to do for her first 1,000 subscribers.
I don't know. Well, first of all, Manny, I just got to give you a shout out and say congrats on your subs, because I love the fact that we've been here with you since day one when you decided to do this channel. So, first of all, huge shout out for the subs that you're still
you. I appreciate
growing
that.
on that channel. Love that. Okay, so these were a couple things that I took away. You said something right towards the end, and I was frantically trying to type it exactly the way you said it, but I missed it. So now I'm going to have to go back and watch our own replay tomorrow to get it. But you basically said that you need to give people the chance to find you so they know what they've been missing out on. In a nutshell, I think that's what you said. And
Yes.
I feel like that resonates a lot with me, because I feel like I have been told a lot that I need to spread my message out to people and just kind of share my quirkiness with the world, because somebody needs it. And I do get in my own head a lot. So you're totally right with that. Edutainment, I love that word. I've heard it before. I've been told that's what I do. I'm told that I entertain while I'm educating, so I'm happy about that. Here's where I struggle. Number one, I've never really done a call to action on my daily streams. Like, you'll never hear me on my DSpence dish in the morning having a call to action. Because for me, I feel like when I'm talking about those things like the morning motivation and the personal things where it's more like personal experiences and like a vlog style, I feel like having a call to action in a video like that negates the connection that I have with my audience. And I may be completely incorrect in thinking that, but that's why I've never done it. Because I feel like I don't want people to think that I'm streaming just to get followers. I want them to know that I'm streaming because whatever topic I'm talking about is what I feel like I want to and need to talk about that morning. Does that make sense?
Yes. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
That is a way of helping them. How do they know you can help them deeper if you don't give them a way to get to reach out to you? Like if they really wanted, like, man, I wish she can help me. How do they know that you possibly can help them if you never say, like, hey, if you're struggling with something and you want someone to talk to, or you want to jump on a phone call for 15 minutes, how do you get them to know that you can help them deeper? And or even if you want to help them deeper, how do they know that you want to help them deeper?
I don't know. I think that when I do content surrounding like my expertise or like my knowledge of social media or my knowledge of doing things like lighting and building studios and things like that, I think it's easier to give a call to action there because it's a definitive, like, I am an expert in that field, right? But when I'm doing my DSpence dish in the morning, it's more personal. Like I get emotional sometimes when I do those streams. My energy's high, you know what I mean? Like I don't want to, and that could be just me being in my head. And I know Kevin just,
I think you actually said it right there. I think you said it right there. You said it's personal. It's hard unless you want to have a powwow with someone. There really probably won't be a call to action because you
right,
just said it. It's personal. If it
right.
was
And
and
I'm not a therapist, right? I mean, I can share
good point.
my own personal things, but I'm not a trained therapist,
Yeah, that makes
you know,
sense.
and so I don't want people to confuse that and think that I'm offering like legitimate psychological advice or, you know, things like that. You know,
That makes
the other
sense.
thing, is that I go off the cuff quite a bit with my content. Like especially, I mean, 100% with my DSpence dish. Like literally something will happen to me the day before or the evening before or sometimes that morning, and as I'm driving to school, which is nice cuz it's my own time to be inside my own head, that's when my topic comes out, is when I'm driving to school. I don't plan thumbnails and titles and descriptions, and I don't I don't write a content calendar for my DSpence dish because it's personal, and because I want the people that spend the time with me in the morning as they're sipping their coffee or as they're putting the kids on the bus or as they're driving to school. I want them to know that it's just as personal for me, that it's not staged content. So I go off the cuff.
Which is
I don't
probably what I love about it as well, because I hear your messages too. It almost sounds like, number one, you do them, it seems like sometimes in class. That's awesome.
Yeah, I created my own little backdrop and everything now, so like I just pop my camera on my desk in the morning, and
That's
unless
why
of
I
course
find
there's a snow day,
your
but
content very motivational, and it always does sound personal. I don't see if it would be hard to throw a call to action in there because you're more like, hey, whoever's listening, I want to motivate you, and this is what happened last night. It got me thinking about this, and I your approach is the perfect approach where it's like you just want an audience that, and whoever's listening, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. And I hope you get value out of this. That's how I take it in the mornings when I'm jumping on there, or after the fact when I'm like, oh, Dory was live this morning, and so that's how I take it a lot. So I love your content, and literally when I think of edutainment, you are the prime example of what that looks like, right? Your colors, the flashing, your glasses, the way you speak, you're complete in front of, I want to keep you in tuned while I hope you get some value this morning from this. I love it.
well, thank you. So maybe I am doing some things right. I
Oh,
just need
your
Absolutely.
dispense dish is right.
I just need to find a way to move it from my morning Facebook stream to a place on YouTube. Or maybe it doesn't belong on YouTube. But that's the topic for next week. We're not going to focus on that right now. So, but yeah, I did take a lot away from it, and it really does have the gears kind of grinding in my head. So,
You see,
and
on like for me, like I come from a business standpoint, right? Like
yep,
to me, why spend time on YouTube if or why put so many hours if you can't monetize it or it's not possible to monetize? You know, like last month in December, like for me, you know, it was my biggest month, right? I've only been monetizing it since July, and I made like over $1,000, right? So that's an extra $1,000 that is just extra income. And so when you stop and think about it, when I think about your content, the person that's going to love your content, Dory, is the person that loves that content. They love that content because of the way you're delivering it and the message itself. It's not necessarily education. It's more of, hey, you're probably someone who can resonate with this message. Here we go. You know, That's more of a TED Talk almost in a personal way. Really.
It is.
And
Yeah.
and the person that's going to love it is the person that loves that personality, the way you say it. I can tell you that sometimes when I've had my content, I've had one person make a comment like she literally talked to me in my channel like if I was a real person as she was folding laundry. Do you know how much that felt so great to know like she's talking to me like if I'm a real person right there. That means my content was resonating. She felt it enough to comment out loud to me.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's what the most important part is for me, that like I feel like my purpose is I just want to make a difference for just one person. And that's why I've talked about in streams in the past where I just talk to one person. I don't care how many people are on the live. I'm literally only talking to one. That's why I always say you. You know, it's not all of you, it's you. And so I have a lot to think about, and hopefully between you guys helping me workshop some stuff next week and our audience being willing to hopefully be engaging and give some feedback, because I really need it. I think that I do have a message that I want to share. I just need to figure out the right freaking way to do it. That's all. But I think on that note, I just scrolled up and I think we pretty much hit everything as far as questions. So, unless you guys had any last minute things you wanted to add?
No, I'm good at this
That's
end.
good enough.
Ta-da!
My friends, if you enjoy content like this and you're finding it useful, we would love it if you like and subscribe to our channel. And sharing our content is also a great way to spread the love. And if you visit our website, you can find all the information on all the ways that you can connect with us here at C3, or you can visit linktr.ee/content creators connect. We are on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter.
And also make sure you drop down comments or drop your comments down in the comment section below so that we know what we can actually bring to you. For instance, one of Manny's subscribers asked him to do content about how did you get your first 1,000. And look, we did a whole show based on that. So we do listen to you and we want to get you engaged and get you as part of our community.
And we want to thank you for joining Content Creators Connect, aka C3, tonight as we heard Manny outline his path to his first 1,000 subscribers. We return next Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, where we'll be talking about finding your niche or niche, however you choose to pronounce it. Come prepared for a hands-on workshop style session. We will be multicasting live to YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, so be sure to join us. Until then, we urge you to identify and lean into your 3 C's. Start today creating unique content that builds connections and breaks down those barriers. See you next week.
See ya. Thanks for joining.
Bye.